So, honey, buckle up, because what is coming this summer on General Hospital is going to have you absolutely breathless. We are talking romance, betrayal, scheming, and a man who simply cannot help himself when it comes to controlling the people around him. And that man, well, if you have been watching this show for more than 5 minutes, you already know exactly who we mean.
Sonny.
And Sonny is not running just one scheme right now. He is running two simultaneously, and both of them are about to cause serious damage. Now, everyone knows that Sonny has had Sidwell in his crosshairs for a very long time. This is deeply personal for Sonny in every possible way. Sidwell has threatened the people Sonny loves most in this world, has moved through his territory without permission, and has made it abundantly clear that he is not afraid of Sonny, which, if you know this man at all, is basically signing your own fate. Sonny is not the kind of man who lets that kind of disrespect go unanswered. He is absolutely determined to make sure Sidwell meets a very grim end, and he is willing to pull out every single resource, every favor, every ally he has ever had to make that happen. Sonny is going all in, full stop. But here is what makes Sonny so endlessly fascinating to watch. Even in the middle of something this dangerous, even while he is running what could be the most consequential operation of his life, he still finds time to meddle in matters of the heart. Because that is simply who Sonny is. He cannot turn it off. There is a romance quietly blooming around him that he absolutely refuses to accept, and he has already decided he is going to do something about it. So let us talk about Carly and Valentin, because this love story has honestly been one of the most unexpected and genuinely touching things this show has given us in a very long time. What started as a tense, uncomfortable arrangement, two people from completely different worlds forced together by dangerous circumstances, slowly and quietly turned into something neither of them ever saw coming. Carly and Valentin fell for each other. Genuinely.
Deeply.
In a way that caught them both completely off guard. And then they had to say goodbye. Valentin had to leave Port Charles with critical information that needed to reach the right hands. He knew that going to deliver it in person meant facing very real consequences for himself. He knew there was a strong possibility that after telling everything he knew, he would end up right back behind bars. So Carly and Valentin said their goodbyes with heavy hearts, each of them quietly terrified that it might be the last time they ever saw each other. But here's the good news that is going to make your heart sing. Summer spoilers are telling us that Valentin is going to make it back to Port Charles. He's going to avoid the prison fate he feared so deeply. And when he walks back through that door, he and Carly are going to have a real chance to pick up exactly where they left off and build something lasting together. Now, here is where Sonny comes storming in to complicate absolutely everything. Sonny finds out about Carly and Valentin.
And he does not take it well.
Not even a little bit. Sonny has never been comfortable with the idea of Carly building a life with someone he does not trust or approve of, and Valentin is about as far from Sonny's approved list as a person can get. So instead of minding his own business, which, let us be honest, has never been Sonny's strong suit, he recruits Brick to help him tear this relationship apart before it can truly take root. Brick, who is nothing if not loyal to Sonny, is going to play a significant role in this sabotage plan. And between the two of them, they're going to put together something calculated, something targeted, and something that could genuinely threaten what Carly and Valentin are trying to build. Sonny's goal is simple and ruthless: break them up. For good. Before the summer is over. So just as Valentin and Carly are finally getting their chance at happiness, Sonny is already working behind the scenes to rip it away. And that, darlings, is the kind of romantic sabotage storyline that is going to keep us absolutely glued to our screens all summer long. Cassius takes James, and Port Charles holds its breath. Now we are shifting to a storyline that is moving at an absolutely breathtaking pace this week, and if you have not been following this particular thread closely, let me catch you up, because what is about to happen involves a little boy, a man living under a stolen identity, a sharp-eyed cowboy in a parking lot, and an arrival that nobody in Port Charles saw coming. Let us start with Cassius. Now, Cassius has been walking around Port Charles pretending to be someone he is absolutely not. He has been presenting himself as Nathan, beloved, deeply missed, the man that so many people in this town grieved and never fully recovered from losing. But Cassius is not Nathan. He never was. He is Nathan's brother, and he has been running the most emotionally complicated deception this show has seen in years. Here is what makes Cassius so fascinating, though. He is not purely a villain. Over the past several weeks, something real has been happening between Cassius and little James. A genuine bond. A warmth that nobody planned for and nobody expected. James has no idea that the man he has grown to love is not who he says he is. And Cassius, for all his lies and schemes, appears to genuinely care about that little boy in a way that feels completely unscripted. Now, Liesel is completing something major this week, a critical protocol that has been a long time coming. And once that is done, Cassius knows his window in Port Charles is closing fast. He needs to leave. He needs to disappear before the truth catches up with him. But before he goes, Cassius made a promise to James. A simple, sweet, completely normal promise to take the boy to the batting cages one last time. And that promise, made with the purest of intentions, is about to cause an absolute explosion. Because here is what the weekly preview is showing us. Cassius walks out of a building with James, and standing right there in that same parking lot is Cody. Watching them. Eyes sharp, body tense, every instinct on high alert. Cody is not just a bystander here. James is his nephew, and there is nothing casual about the way Cody is observing this situation. He is calculating. He is worried. And he is ready to move if he has to. At the same time, Felicia's voice cuts through the preview like a knife. Nathan isn't who he says he is. That line alone is enough to send chills straight down your spine, because it means the truth is already starting to crack through the surface. Anna already told Felicia what she knows. And while Felicia was understandably reluctant to believe it at first, because who would want to believe that the man they thought was their daughter's husband come back from the dead is actually an imposter, Anna is going to push her. Anna is going to convince Felicia to look deeper. And when Felicia starts pulling at those threads, the entire truth about Cassius is going to unravel in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. Nathan is still gone. Nathan has been gone this whole time. And Cassius has been standing in his place, wearing his face, living his life for months. But back to that parking lot, because it is about to get even more intense. A helicopter appears. Armed men in bulletproof gear show up alongside a very unexpected face. And suddenly what looked like a simple outing to the batting cages looks, from the outside, like something far more sinister. Authorities may very well interpret what they're seeing as a kidnapping in progress. And if that is how it reads to the people closing in on that parking lot, then Cassius, whatever his true intentions were, is going to find himself in an impossible situation in a matter of seconds. Does Cassius panic and run with James? Does he surrender and let the truth come out? And what does Cody do when everything erupts around his little nephew? Will Cody throw himself into the middle of this to protect James, even if it puts his own life at serious risk? This week in Port Charles is going to be one for the record books, darlings. Do not you dare miss a single moment of it. Ethan's bombshell, and Ava becomes the keeper of a devastating secret. All right, my darlings, we have saved one of the most intriguing slow burns of the entire summer for last. Because this storyline between Ethan and Ava has been quietly building, carefully layering, and it is now about to reach a moment that is going to change everything between them. We are talking about a confession. A real, raw, walls completely down confession that Ethan is about to make, and Ava is going to be the only one who hears it. Now let us back up just a little because the setup here is everything. When people in Port Charles, including Ava, saw a photograph of Ethan with a woman named Delilah and a baby girl in the picture, the dots seemed to connect themselves. Everyone assumed Ethan was that little girl's father. And Ethan? He let them assume it. He leaned right into the misunderstanding and let it sit there, shaping the way people saw him and the situation entirely.
But it was all a lie.
A deliberate, carefully constructed lie. The truth is that Ethan went to extraordinary lengths to cover up the reality of who little Phoebe's biological father actually is. He stole evidence from a cold case. He manipulated a DNA sample. He built an entire false narrative around himself to make sure nobody looked too closely at the real answer. That is not the behavior of a man protecting himself from embarrassment. That is the behavior of a man protecting someone or something much bigger than himself. And Ava figured out enough to use it. Because Ava is sharp and she does not miss much. She made it crystal clear to Ethan that she expected something in return for keeping what she knew quietly to herself. She needed a buffer between herself and Sonny, someone who could run interference, smooth things over, keep Sonny from coming at her with everything he has. And Ethan, with very little room to negotiate, stepped up and delivered. He helped Ava handle Sonny, and in doing so, he bought himself some breathing room. But here is where it gets truly interesting, because what started as a cold, transactional arrangement between these two has started to shift. There is something happening between Ethan and Ava that neither of them planned for. A tension that is not just about leverage and secrets anymore. There is genuine chemistry there.
A pull.
An intrigue. They are fascinated by each other in a way that is slowly becoming impossible to ignore. And Ethan has been showing up for Ava in ways that go well beyond what their deal required. Sidwell is still a very real threat to Ava, and there are other dangerous players who could enter her orbit at any moment. Ethan has been quietly positioning himself as someone she can rely on, not because he has to, but because somewhere along the way he started wanting to. That closeness is now leading somewhere huge. Because summer spoilers are telling us that Ethan is going to get vulnerable. Truly, genuinely vulnerable, which for a man like Ethan is no small thing. He is going to open up. He is going to let Ava see something real. And what he is about to confess could send shockwaves through Port Charles if it ever got beyond those two people. It sounds very much like Ethan is on the verge of telling Ava the truth, that he is not Phoebe's biological father, that the whole thing was a setup, a cover, and perhaps most explosively of all, he may be about to tell Ava who Phoebe's real father actually is. Think about what that means for a moment. If Ava already held power over Ethan before, imagine how much more she holds once she knows the full truth. She becomes the keeper of a secret that could detonate like a bomb the moment it reaches the wrong ears. And Ava, being Ava, knows exactly what to do with power like that. But here is the wild card. Will she use it? Or has this unexpected closeness with Ethan changed something in her? Will Ava protect this secret out of genuine loyalty to a man she has grown to care about? Or will the moment come when Ava decides this information is simply too valuable to sit on? This is the kind of storyline that reminds you why General Hospital has kept audiences captivated for decades. It is not just about the secrets. It is about the relationships built in the shadows around those secrets. And Ethan and Ava are building something in those shadows that is becoming genuinely impossible to look away from. So if you have been on the fence about whether this summer's General Hospital is worth your time, honey, I am here to tell you, the answer is absolutely yes. Sonny's scheming against love. A little boy caught in the middle of an identity explosion. And a confession between two complicated, beautifully flawed people that could change everything.